talking to Hala Al-Shawaf. She is the CEO of VoIP Doctors. They are a voice over IP hosted service provider. Hala, do you want to expand on that?
So we are, as you said, a VoIP telecom hosted service that was founded just in the last few months, building on about 20 years of banking and financial services, business development history in my professional background, and 20 years of IT and VoIP telecom experience in my business partners' background. And we saw a need in our market and decided that going into business for ourselves was the route that we wanted to take, and here we are.
So Centerman Law Group is doing this video series to really talk to real business owners and find out, how they're dealing with the situation. This is, a crazy situation for a lot of people. There's a lot of unknowns. People are scared, but we want to do this series and the hopes that it will help someone, and maybe they could get some tips on what they should be doing and kind of how they can help their business. Part of this, we've adopted this phrase, which is triage, reposition, and pivot, to kind of deal with what's going on. And that all that really means is taking a step back, looking at your business and saying, okay, these are the issues now that I'm facing, and do I need to adjust my business plan? Do I need to completely change it and do something else and pivot away from what I was doing? I guess, the big question for you first and foremost is, so how has this COVID-19 situation really affected your business plan?
Certainly we're networking and promoting the company differently than we thought we would be doing. Okay. We actually did our public sort of marketing launch just a couple of days before the lockdown order went into effect in New Jersey. So we'd been laying the groundwork for months and had been doing, consulting. Obviously, we were still sort of active in the industry. But rather than, hitting the streets, going out to visit businesses, going to in-person networking meetings, things like that, we're doing all of that virtually now, right? Okay. So lots of phone calls, lots of, touching base with our networking friends and contacts, staying in touch with the current clients that we have and the prospects that we were working with that way. A lot of virtual networking meetings,
right?
And really finding out where the need is with other businesses, what questions they might have, and doing some goodwill consulting there too.
In terms of like the triage, is there anything that you're doing effectively right now?
We looked at we had sort of rapid expansion plans based on revenue that we were generating, contracts that we had going, and ones that we were certain were going to book. And we looked at some of those expenditures that just didn't seem wise to continue with right away, looking at potentially having office space, looking at, other resources that for right now, especially we're going to do without, in order to minimize the outpouring of cash while we generate revenue to keep the business going, and stay in the game so that we continue to help other businesses that need advice. And we've also been exploring the SBA emergency loans, which I know clients have been doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's so many questions with that. The regulations and recommendations on that are changing day by day. So the information that we're getting from our bankers and CPAs.
So how are you doing a reposition, or are you doing a pivot?
I guess doing a little bit of both.
Okay.
Really, our primary offering, so we thought, because the business that laid the groundwork for us to launch VoIP Doctors was were a few consulting roles, contracts that we took on. But we thought that hosted services was really going to be our bread and butter. And for right now, consulting actually seems to be more where it's at. And so while we still absolutely have, and we've got proposals out for hosted services, conferencing, things like that, the consulting, right? Like the virtual telecom CIO type role
Okay.
is something that we're seeing a need for.
You had mentioned marketing, and that's one thing that, some clients are saying, okay, like what do I do now? Like, what should I be doing right now? One answer is just get out there, like get yourself out there, do content. And like I see that you guys are doing that in terms of your videos, which is good. I've been suggesting that as well. Like get videos and get yourself in front of people, because people are just in front of the computer all day now, and that's a perfect way to to really get marketing and get yourself out there.
It definitely is, and to combine content that's got valuable information, right? Digestible
Right.
things that people can use and put into action, or use as the foundation for doing a little bit more of their own research, or just again that very human element to it, right? Like, hey, we're just checking in, hope you're all well. Little snippets of who you are as a person, who you are as a company,
Right.
I think is really important. But yeah, for sure, coming up with email campaigns, social media, posts. They don't all have to be earth-shattering, I think, as long as they're really, genuine and heartfelt.
Do you see this situation changing your industry, or maybe making it more relevant or needing it more?
I do see that coming down the road. I think, like I said, a lot of businesses are realizing now that if they have not already begun upgrading, that now is the
Right.
time, or the very near future, if not now, right, to start laying the groundwork. But I don't see a way forward for the business community generally without being more adept and more agile in the virtual space.
So you work from home?
We do.
Okay. And so do you have any tips on, let's say a good method or a good strategy of, working from home and a lot? And what do you guys use? Use any, tools that you like to use for working from home?
We do work from home. We, as I said, considered commercial office space, which we're going to hold off on for a little while. But the biggest thing that we're doing is really trying to keep a regular schedule, keeping honestly to-do lists, having a shared drive where we manage our projects. Things like that really help us to stay on track and sort of suss out what's what, and being mindful of keeping some personal time, right? Like when you're an employee, or even if you're a business owner who gets to, lock the door to the business at night and walk away, you have some measure of detachment. We're sometimes find ourselves at 9-10 o'clock at night, still, elbow deep in something, which is great. But there is definitely a need to let go a little bit and say, that can wait till morning.